Hi and welcome to another morbid case from our dark past. And today we're talking about half-hanged Maggie. That's an interesting, weird, intriguing title, I know. So let's just get into it.
Every job must be carefully analyzed.
In this story, we travel way back to Edinburgh, Scotland, 1721. And our main character is Margaret Dixon, or Maggie for short. In this year of 1721, she was only 23 years old. Miss Margaret, who had separated from her husband, tried her luck in finding some employment in the grand old city of Edinburgh. And she found one. She started working at a local inn, where the innkeeper started to fancy the young woman working for him. And as these stories almost always go, poor Maggie, as we're gonna call her now, got pregante.
Kan uget pregante.
Out of wedlock and still married to her husband wherever he is at the moment. So yeah, Maggie did and chose to do, of course, what a lot of young women during 17, 18, 16, 15, 14 hundreds did. She carried the baby in secret, and once the baby was born, it was very weak and did not survive for long. And then Maggie did what the women usually also did. She tried to hide it so that she would just not think about it anymore. So she went down to a local river where she had planned to throw the baby into it. But she just couldn't. Some kind of conscience, I guess. So she placed it next to the river instead. Kind of a bad idea, cause the baby was found pretty quickly. And it didn't take long at all until fingers started to point at our dear Maggie. I guess she hadn't concealed that pregnancy as well as she thought she did. And of course, fast forward, Maggie got sentenced to hang. Death sentence, if you may. And sure enough, she got to the gallows and they put that rope around there and let her go, and she hung there for about 30 minutes until they declared her properly unsubscribed from live subscription and all that, you know. And they took her down and placed her in a wooden coffin. Now there was a big fight around her body. Her family wanted to take her and bury her close to their parish church, and the young surgeons of Edinburgh wanted to keep the body for studies. There was a big shortage of bodies to study, and they had the right to take people who have been sentenced to demise. But after the fight and all that, Maggie's family won and took her in her wooden coffin in a little funeral progression to their parish church. But not before stopping during this little road trip to get some ale at another inn, not the first inn, just an inn on the way. They stopped there to have a funeral beer. And then something strange happened. The wobbly cobblestones and the wooden casket had roused Maggie back to life, and she promptly just sat up, perfectly alive, to the horror of everyone. Understandable. Lucky the roads were terrible back then, and the that the journey was so unstable. Maggie had herself a beer just a few hours after being hanged. Well-deserved beer. With a pretty sore throat though. When the law heard of what had happened, they just decided that this was divine intervention. They couldn't legally just go ahead and hang her again, so she was promptly let go into the world. She then found her estranged husband and lived for another 40 years. They had children and lived a normal life. She got some respect around her little circle where she hanged about, and people would call her half-hanged Maggie. The law was later changed from sentence to hang to sentence to hang until demise, so that this thing would not happen again. In modern times in Edinburgh right now, there's actually a pub at the grass market, just a few yards from where the gallows where she was hanged used to be. And the pub is called Maggie Dixon's Pub, a fitting memorial as any. Thank you for watching this very short little ramble here on my Jauntily Macabre channel. Please help me get to that 2K milestone, and like, subscribe, hit the bell, and blah, blah, all that. You know, I'm not gonna force you to do anything, but if you enjoy macabre, fun, dark humor, this is the place for you. Thanks to all my lovely patrons. You all know you're amazing. Mwah. Stay amazing, stay hydrated, and most of all, stay morbid. And I'll see you very soon. Bye bye.